Beloved Master Nagendra Shri, today's question is from Hemendra Jain. He says, Dear beloved Nagendra Ji, please accept my heartiest pranam. Just listened your audio in silence, and listening is just the state of meditation. We are fortunate that we are listening the teachings which are coming from the pure consciousness. Nagendra Ji, please say something on the cleansing of consciousness, how it can be done, with warm regards and gratitude to the great Master. परम आदरणीय गुरु नगेंद्र श्री, आज का प्रश्न हेमेंद्र जैन का है। वे कहते हैं, परम प्रिय नगेंद्र जी, कृपया मेरे हार्दिक प्रणाम स्वीकार करें। अभी आपका ऑडियो वचन शांत मन से सुना और जाना कि श्रवण ध्यान की ही अवस्था है। यह हमारा परम सौभाग्य है कि हम एक परिशुद्ध चेतना द्वारा दी गई शिक्षाओं को सुन पा रहे हैं। नगेंद्र जी, कृपया चेतना की शुद्धिकरण के संदर्भ में कुछ बताएं। ये कैसे किया जा सकता है? गुरु श्रेष्ठ को शुभकामनाएं और धन्यवाद।
Beloved Hemendra, your question. Dear beloved Nagendra Ji, please accept my heartiest pranam. Just listening your both audios with silence and listening is the just state of meditation. We are fortunate that we are listening to the teachings which are coming from the pure consciousness. Nagendra Ji, please say something on the cleansing of consciousness, how it can be done, with warm regards and gratitude to the great Master. Beloved Hemendra, you travel with me now when you listen. And this journey, this traveling is timeless. Attention is the journey that contains no time and no distance. First, before we go deeper into your question, the cleansing of consciousness, first you should understand and grasp what consciousness is. What is the consciousness? What is human consciousness? What it is made from? What are the contents of consciousness? What are the factors of consciousness? What is the stuff of consciousness? What is the material of consciousness? How consciousness is created and how it works and how it affects your life, and whether consciousness and you are different thing or you are the consciousness. There's no difference. So these are many questions. I have put contra questions. So your question become more sharper by contra questions which I have put. So slowly, step by step, we go deeper and deeper and uncover the truth. Consciousness is the container of your psychological field. Consciousness is the container of your many psychological contents, such as fear, which is very deep down in every human being, and demanding for the security. Every human being wants security, certainty. All your psychological hurts, your wounds, your habits, the way you talk, the way you express your consciousness in words, your relationship, your families, your beliefs. You believe in certain God or certain things. Your greed, which is also very deep down. Greed is not only money matter. Greed is very, very complicated thing. Every person have it because consciousness is made of it. Then your attachment with your wife, with your husband, with your children, with the property, with your material accumulation, attachment with earthly things, attachment then your way of contradictive life. Contradiction means you say one thing and you do totally opposite what you say and thinking totally differently. There is no oneness, what you say, what you do, and what you think, what you feel. It is called contradiction, the life of contradiction. You live contradictive life. I'm just throwing the light on these things. Listen it very carefully and with all your total attention and total observation. Then while listening, your consciousness will be cleansed. Listening itself is the process of cleansing the consciousness. So your consciousness, it's a container like a lake, like a big pool or lake that contains water. Water is the content of lake container. Similarly is the consciousness. Consciousness is like a lake that contains many factors which I have just mentioned you, psychological field and physical field as well. I have told many factors which your consciousness is made of. Also your heritage, your genetic behavior, also the part of your consciousness. Consciousness is the field of psyche, your whole psyche. Like you are Hindu or you are Christian or Buddhist or Jainas or Jew. All this belief system is also part of your consciousness. The culture you live in affects you. The faith you have is also the part of your consciousness. And the nationality in you believe and you are ready to die for. You know, people are nationalists. They believe in their country and they hate other countries. And then suffering from many psychological disorders, such as depressions, and suffering from deep-rooted fear, suffering from comparison that other person have achieved and you have not achieved that goal. So that comparison also brings suffering. Suffering also comes when you are ignorant. Ignorant means you are living in the shadow of thought. Thought brings suffering. Then your consciousness also have the factor of pain and pleasure. Pain comes through loneliness when you are lonely. Then this pain of loneliness brings you to the pleasure. You want entertainment. You escape from pain to the pleasure. And when you are bored with pleasure, because pleasure creates pain, then you are returned to pain. And when you return to pain, then pain again creates problem, loneliness in you. Then you again run away in the search of entertainment, pleasure. So these two factors are also the part of your consciousness. That's why I told you consciousness is a big field, very vast field of psychological contents. These are all psychological contents. And jealousy, hatred, also very deep-rooted in human beings. And you should not say that I don't have these things, otherwise you will miss it. They are very deeply. They have to have there, otherwise you are then free from, then you are eliminated. Therefore, you should not give any explanation that I don't have these things. You have deep down. They come sometime on the surface, when your life is in danger or when circumstances push you, then you show these things. They are very deep down, deep rooted in the deep layer of your consciousness. Superficial layer of consciousness, and there is deep layer of consciousness which you call unconscious layer and conscious layer. But I do not divide the consciousness in layer, superficial layer or unconscious layer. I say one consciousness. So deep conscious layer and superficial level. I don't divide it, but these are to explain you, I can just tell you that these two layers, but in fact, in such layer do not exist. Only exists consciousness. So the deep-rooted consciousness, which manifests when you sleep and dream, because many unlived things in your daily life are pushed in your deeper layer, in your consciousness, which is unconscious layer, as I told you. These contents do not have opportunities to manifest because you suppress them, you push them in a corner. Since you perform your superficial activities in daily life, so these things are then get accumulated. They get gathered a big storehouse. Since the whole history of mankind existing on this planet, now listen very carefully. I am pointing out now a big truth, big reality, that your consciousness and the consciousness of whole race of the earth is not two things. You understand? You have been told that you are your consciousness and the other person has his own consciousness, but it is not so. The reality is that you share your consciousness with the rest of the humanity, the human beings. It is called collective consciousness. It is not your consciousness. As I told you, that every human beings have these things. It does not matter which part of the earth this person lives, in China or India or in America or in Europe or in Africa or in Siberia, anywhere. These all contents are present in human consciousness. You share fear together. It is not that fear is Hindu fear or Christian fear or Buddhist fear. Fear is fear. So every person have this. That's why your consciousness represents the consciousness of all human beings. You got it now? That's why you are responsible when you do anything in this consciousness, when you perform any reaction or action through this consciousness, you affect the whole consciousness of mankind. It means you share your greed, your fear, your search for comfort, your material demands, your sexual drives, everything. That's why the containers, the volume of container is becoming more and more. The lake, the water of the lake becomes more and more. You are adding it every day. You are adding it. You understand? Go deeply in it. You see it. Just see it. And so you and consciousness is not two things. You are consciousness, and consciousness is you. And you are the consciousness of all human consciousness. You are all together. But through the wrong teachings, through your conditioning, upbringing from childhood, you have been told that you are an individual. You are like living like Hindu, and this is Hindu consciousness, and this is that, and this is all wrong things. That you are unique person. You are not unique person. There's no such thing as you are unique individual. Surely you are unique as a body. Every person have different body, different nose and eyes color, hair color and skin color, and they have different languages superficially, but deep down the consciousness which I told you is similar. Therefore, there's one humanity. That's why when you change your consciousness, that change affects the whole humanity. When you are illuminated, your illuminations, your light, your enlightenment have enormous impact of the rest of the human consciousness. Similarly, when you are living in ignorance and in the shadow of fear, you also share it with whole human consciousness and you affect it. So therefore you contribute your darkness or you contribute your illumination. You cannot stay here in this earth, on this earth, in this universe without. You have to go down or up. You cannot stay neutral in the middle. It's not possible because everything is in momentum. Everything is running like a running water of a river. Nothing is static here. Only you have made your life static. That's why you people are all living in a small corner static life. It's a deadly life. You pursue very little routine life. Routine is driven from routine means route which is always followed every day. Routine means, the route, the way, the road. When you follow every day same route, it means then routine. Routine is also coming from robot. Means a person who lives like a robot, he is in routine. Because routine gives you security. It is comfortable. You know every time what you have to do. You feel secure in routine. But life is not routine. But you have made routine. You have imposed your routine on life. Therefore, your life has become mechanic and dead. And you yourself have become dead. I am saying you means all the human being. When I talk, I don't talk one person. Because you are all similar. You have similar problems. You have similar suffering. You have similar depression. You have similar emotions. It doesn't matter if he is German or you are Indian or the other is American or doesn't matter. So your life has become robotic, which means routine. Routine means repetition. A mechanical repetition brings you insensitive life, and this becomes the part of your consciousness. So these things are the contents of your consciousness, factors of your consciousness. You understand what I am talking about? If you can, even one drop of this falls down on your consciousness, then your cleansing will start right now. Cleansing will not start tomorrow, but it should start while you are listening to me, because this is the process of cleansing, cleaning your consciousness. Now, as I told you that you are living mechanical life, routine life, robotic life. So if you apply any method to clean the consciousness, to cleanse the consciousness, then this method will again add the mechanical factor in your consciousness. So it will not clean, right? It is clear or not? Because method is also driven from the word mechanic. Method means that is which is mechanic. Method is already prepared. Otherwise it cannot be method. Method comes from past. Methods are good for the study, the material knowledge. If you are a doctor or technical engineer or a psychologist or an expert of software, mechanical and electronic, then these methods are applied there and they are good. You need method there. But in the field of spirituality and psychological world, any methods will add your consciousness and will destroy your life. You should know this difference, because you are using one instrument everywhere. I ask you one question now, listen it. Can you love somebody? Can you love somebody by method? Or you go directly and love somebody. If somebody teaches you a method of how to fall in love, can you love? You can't. Similarly, cleansing the consciousness cannot be performed by a mechanical method. Otherwise, method itself is creating the consciousness. How it can cleanse? You should be very clear in it. So what can be done? And without cleansing the consciousness, you cannot come out. Your consciousness cannot transform. You cannot have love or meditation. What is meditation? Meditation is the emptiness. Emptiness, emptying your consciousness. Emptying your consciousness from the contents you have gathered is the meditation. And love is the perfume of meditation, and compassion is the expression of love. You got it? You got it? How beautiful. Flowing the teachings. Again, meditation is the emptying your consciousness from the contents you have gathered since at least 2 million years. And love is the perfume of meditation. When you meditate, you spread the radiation of love. That perfume is then communicated as compassion. This is the very highest, supreme expression of love and meditation. Compassion is the supreme expression of meditation and love. Now, emptying, how you will empty your consciousness? Because you have gathered since 2 million years and more. And it is not only your stuff. I told you, you in your consciousness gathered the collective consciousness, collective stuff, collective contents. Because all human beings are thinking similar in different languages, but deep down they're thinking the same direction. That's why you affect the other people and other affects you. So it means that your consciousness having all these things from other people as well. So that's why it is very difficult to cleanse it. I don't think it is difficult, but as you live, it sounds difficult. So first you need to gather your energy. Second, you have to stop feeding your past and your memory. Third, do not react. Fourth, do not live in future, because future is the part of past which repeats in the present. And the last, to live in the present. Live in now. Now means, you see this word is very beautiful. When you break this word, 3 words now, N-O-W, so no means, no and W. W means word, no word. You understand now? Now means no word, now. N-O-W. W is word and no is nothing. Nothing thought. No thought. That is the ground of now. And now is the full of emptiness and energy. So can you stay in this moment, when you stay there, naturally lots of thought will torture you and you will be swept away, you will be pushed away from present to the future and past, as you are already living like that. You are kicked in past or you are kicked off in your future. You are never, not a few seconds, you are never in present, right? Very, very rarely you are. But watch that movements of thought. Be attentive just. You can't do anything. Attention, give the attention when you are not attentive. When you are unconscious, give the attention. Pay attention, start with very small things. Like when you eat, you should watch how you eat. Don't talk while eating, because otherwise you are already in the state of sleep, inner sleep, and when you talk, then you miss the food you eat. Smell the food, watch its colors, its warmth. Eat very peacefully with enormous awareness. Similarly, you do also when you clean your room. Don't do as a habit, but be aware, which is very difficult. So start seeing your family without words, without past memory, without pictures, without the knowledge, because knowledge is the enemy of man. Knowledge is limited. Don't see anything through your knowledge, because knowledge is the part of past. So when you do so, your consciousness will be emptying and it will be dried. It will be like when you remove the water from the lake, what happens then? Then the lake is empty. Then in this emptiness then comes the higher energies. Then the real meditation can take place there when your consciousness is empty. Not before. This you should know. Or the Supreme Intelligence can operate your consciousness, and this consciousness is then called the Supreme Consciousness, which is at the moment not the part of your life. It does not exist for you. For you exists what I have told you. Unless you cleansed it, and when you cleansed your consciousness, your brain cells are then also cleansed. They can receive the higher messages from the universe and even beyond the universe. The ground of truth. You understand? So I told you now how to cleanse the consciousness. In the light of awareness is the cleaning of your consciousness. In the light of attention is the cleansing of your consciousness. In the light of pure observation without judgment is the cleansing and emptying your consciousness. And when your consciousness is empty, then your work is done, then something, a miracle happens. That miracle is wordless. This I cannot tell you what happens. You will know that. So listen it now and just put it on reality, not only listen at intellectual level. Otherwise, what I'm telling, you will translate it in your knowledge and it will be dead, as you are doing all the time. You translate everything according to your consciousness, which is very narrow. This consciousness in which you live is narrow and source of suffering. So empty it. And emptying your consciousness, there is nothingness, and stay in nothingness, then everything is there. Namaste.